ביאור משנה ב', explanation for משנה ב'. משנה זו היא ההמשך המשנה הקודמת. This משנה is continuation of the previous משנה. והיא באה להדגים, all this משנה comes to teach us, מה ששנינו שם, the fact that we learned before, שערווה פותרת את צרתה ואת צרת צרתה. That if one of the wives is not allowed to marry the Yabam, then all the other wives are not going to, they don't need to get a Yibum Echalitza. Not only all the other wives, if the second Yabam, let's say, takes one of the other wives, and he dies before he has a seed, then if he has other wives, also those wives don't have to get, that's what we're going to go to. מן החליצה ומן הביום. כיצד פותרות? So how do they make it patur? 15 העריות, the 15 עריות that we discussed before, שנמנו המשנה הקודמת, צרותיהם וצרות צרותיהם. How they are going to make sure that nobody needs to get a yibum, and they can get married in the market immediately. מן החליצה ומן הביום. הייתה ביתו, let's take an example. הייתה ביתו, if she was his daughter, או אחת מכל העריות האלו נשואה לאחיו. So let's take... or
either his daughter or...
any one of the 15th.
Of the wife.
Or any one of the 15 ladies we said before. Yeah? So if it was a daughter, or any one of the... doesn't have to be his daughter. Anybody is not allowed to get married to. She was married to his brother. Right? Any one of the ones that we're talking about, his mother-in-law was married to his brother. I don't care. Okay. Whatever he does.
You don't need the...
Yeah. או אחת מכל העריות האלה נשואה לאחיו. So let's take, for example, let's take his daughter. כגון ביתו של ראובן נשואה לשמעון אחיו. Let's take the example. The daughter of Reuven is married to Shimon, his brother. ולא אישה אחרת. And Reuven has another wife. Let's call her Dina. Yeah? Reuven has a wife called Dina. ולא אישה אחרת. ולשמעון, no, not Reuven has another wife. Shimon has another wife. ולא אישה אחרת. ולשמעון היה עוד אישה מלבד ביתו של ראובן. So Shimon has two wives. She's got the daughter of Reuven, is married to, and he's married to Dina. הוא מת שמעון בלא בנים. Shimon passed away, no sons. ונפלו שני נשיו של שמעון, היינו ביתו של ראובן וצרתה לפני ראובן ליבום. Now Reuven has two wives, that is, one of them he has to, at least one of them he has to do, no, not at least, only to one of them he can do yibum. Yeah?
And one of them is his daughter, no?
Yeah, one of them is his daughter. So he says, so some would say, hey, maybe you can't do yibum to your daughter, but you can be yibum to your daughter's wife, the other wife. So he says you can't. And let's look at the religion. Yeah, it's going to go further. It's going to add details. Yeah, it's going to add details. So it says, Keshem shebito ptura. Oh, just like have something in mind, it makes it easier to understand. We look at the two wives as not family. Yeah, two wives. I'm allowed to marry two wives, but there's no connection between the two wives. Right? The Torah doesn't look at it. Over here it tells you, once the wives of the same guy, they become like family. Yeah. That's right. It's not really family, but for our purposes, she becomes family. And then if she's family, and now one of them becomes family with somebody else, now they're all families. That's why, that's going to be the idea. It makes her a family let's not say family, it makes her connected to the other wife. Keshem shebito ptura, just like his daughter is not obligated, mina chalitza or mina yibum, and she doesn't need anything, she can go out to the market immediately. She'arei asura hi lo mishomer va. Why she's prohibited? Because she should be. First of all, she's prohibited because she's his brother's wife. But the Torah tells you, your brother's wife, you make a yibum. But besides being the brother's wife, she's got another problem. She's his daughter. כך צרתה פטורה מן החליצה ומן הייבום. So Dina The other wife of Shimon can go free. כמו שבאנו הטעם בפתיחת למסכתנו. Like we explained in the beginning. הלכת שרת ביתו. So, this is what happened. We have Reuven, Shimon, Levi. Right? So Shimon passed away. Reuven couldn't marry her because she was his daughter and couldn't marry the other ones. But Levi can marry both.
And he's the younger.
Doesn't matter, younger, older. Doesn't matter. He's one of the brothers. Okay. Yeah, we're going to see later on which one should do.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's later on. We're not going to discuss it now. הלכת שרת ביתו ונישאת לאחיו. So comes not the
daughter.
The other wife, and she married to אחיו השני. To Levi, let's call him, yeah. שכן אם היה אח אחר לשמעון, for example, if Shimon had another brother beside Reuven, let's call him Levi, ושתי היבמות מותרות לו, and Levi, this is not his daughter, so he can marry her. It's his niece, and he's allowed to marry his niece. שתי היבמות מותרות לו, הרי הוא חייב לייבם אחת מהם. He has an obligation to do ייבום in one of them. כמו שביאנו בפתיחה למסכתנו, like we explained before. וכגון של לוי, he brings the example Levi, because it's the easiest one. כגון של לוי הוא אחיו השני של שמעון. For example, Levi is the second wife of Shimon. הלכת שרתו, ביתו של ראובן, ונתייבמה ללוי. So that Sarah went with the Yibum to Levi. By the way, always in the Torah, when the Torah wants to give the Mishnahs and the Torahs, and also in the Gemara, when they want to give examples of brothers, they always use Reuven, Shimon, Levi. Yeah, so that's how I knew, not because I knew what it's going to say over here. It's always the examples. Yeah. ולא אישה אחרת. So now Levi is married to the wife of Shimon, but he has another wife, also on the side. ולא אישה אחרת. והייתה ללוי עוד אישה מלבד יבמתו. He had another wife. הוא מת, and then Levi died, and he also doesn't have children. גם לוי בלא בנים, and also Levi doesn't have children. ונפלו שני נשיו של לוי לפני ראובן. Now the two extra wives of Levi, that's not his daughter. His daughter went to the market already. This is his daughter's wife from the first marriage, and Levi's wife from the second marriage. Levi was always married to that wife. And now Reuven says, hey, now I can marry them. Any of them. This is צרת צרה. This is צרת צרתה. ונפלו שתי נשיו של לוי לפני ראובן לייבם כשם שצרת ביתו פטורה מן החליצה. They don't now, they all became family. All these girls became family. שנאסרה עליו בשעה שנפלה ליבו משמעון. Once she became אסור to him, כך צרת צרתה. Now the whole women folks over there without the relationship, whoever's married, they're all prohibited. I mean, he's not allowed to do yibum and chalitza on them. They can go to the market immediately. פטורה מן החליצה מן הביום. They are פטור from חליצה and from the yibum. וכבר ביארנו הטעם, we already explained the reason, בפתיחה למסכתנו, שכיוון שנפקעה זיקת ראובן מצרת ביתו, that once Reuven doesn't have the responsibility to make yibum because of his daughter, הרי היא נאסרה עליו משום אשת אחיו. Now the prohibition of your brother's wife kicks in. Why does it kick in? You don't have yibum. When can you do yibum? Because yibum doesn't make sense. Yibum tells you to marry your mother. It happens to be not your mother, it happens to be your brother's wife. But your brother's wife is prohibited just like your mother. There's no difference. But once you cannot do yibum in any of them, it becomes a brother's wife again. The brother's wife status comes again into being.
אבל לוי עשה ייבום to Shimon's daughter?
No, the other one. To the other one.
I see. And that's because she was the daughter already.
Beforehand, yeah.
Before, then it's poter.
Yeah, even though over here, yeah, she is still considered to be an Isu now. Her prohibition of a brother's wife is stronger than the Yibum. ודינה ככל ערווה, and now she's like any other prohibition marriage, הפותרת את צרתה, that she is not required to get chalitza or yibum. Hilkach tzarat erva poteret et tzarata. This is what it means, tzarat erva poteret tzarata. You would think it doesn't happen a lot, but in the old times it used to happen. I don't know if a lot, but it used to happen. It's not so strange.
They used to marry the
Nis was a lot.
the niece.
A lot. Nis was very popular to get married to.
Loyalty defective.
Maybe they would. Yeah. But usually it's not one generation. You need a couple of generations. So if you do it constantly, it will be a problem. And they will be careful, usually, not to do it many generations. ויש למדים...
זה לא permitted from the Torah.
Yeah.
To marry...
Yeah.
כן?
Yeah. They don't do it, but...
They don't do it.
Yeah, but it's permitted. It's like cousins.
You marry cousins.
Well, cousins marry. First cousins can marry.
Okay.
I know cases of first cousins married today. Religious people. Yeah. But uncle and niece is usually... I don't know why they stopped. Usually today it's a problem with the age. Although you can have an uncle and a niece the same age.
Right.
Yeah. Also today people are very careful with genetic things. So maybe in the old time they weren't careful at all. So today it's not going to happen. But just because, I don't know, it's not because of halacha. It's because of the genetics thing. Yeah. ויש למדים זה מן המקרא, כמו שהבנו כבר בפתיחה למסכתנו. And they learn it, a whole debate from which verses you learn it. אפילו הן 100. And that can be like 100 marriages. And every time the guy dies without sons, then all the wives that he had are now פטורות. כגון אם אשתו אחרת של לוי, for example, if the other wife of Levi, היינו צרתה של בת ראובן, the second generation of the צרות, נתייביה ליהודה אחים, then she goes to Yehuda the brother, because that, ולא אישה אחרת, and he has another wife, ומת יהודה בלא בנים, and Yehuda died without any sons, שתיהן אסורות על ראובן. Now they're both prohibited on ראובן. שצרתה של ביתו פותרת אף היא את צרתה. Like the process we said before. היינו את האישה האחרת של יהודה. מן החליצה ומן היבום. So nobody has to do חליצה, nobody has to יבום, and they go out to the world. כיצד? אם מתו צרתיהם מותרות. Now we have the extra case. There can be a case where one of the tzarot passes away. Then she's going to be permitted. What does it mean? כפי ששנינו במשנה, let's look at a case. אם מתו, we said it already in Mishnah Aleph, that if they died, or mi'anu, or they said they were young, and they said, I don't want this husband. Oh. So here have it in mind. A marriage below the age of 12 is not marriage from the Torah. It's not a marriage from the Torah. It's a marriage from the rabbis. Why did the rabbis do such marriages? Because otherwise she would die. In the old time, imagine, her father died, her father passed away, the brothers and the mother remain by themselves in the old time, nobody is working, the brothers are still young, they cannot support a family, so the mother said, I can't feed. So in order to help, they say, get engaged to somebody, and now he's going to take care of her. That was the idea. Yeah. So the rabbis did it in order to save people. So the idea here is like this, but it's only from the rabbis she's married. She's not married from the Torah. And how do we know it's only from the rabbis she's married? Because she doesn't need a get. She says, she gets to the age of 12, she says, I don't want it, and that's it. And she doesn't want it. So you can see that it's not there. So in these two cases, אם מתה או מיענו או נתגרשו וכולו, צרותיהם מותרות. So if they died in between the death of the husbands, if one of them, for example, his daughter died, Reuven's daughter passed away now. So there's no, everybody now, so let's see what let's read it inside. Yeah. Yeah. So now the all mutarot. Hainu bito. So this is the case. Let's say in our case, Reuven's daughter passes away. So now there's no, the other ones, now you have to obligate it. She's not here in this world. So what are you going to do in this case? היינו ביתו או אחת מכל הראיות האלו נשא לאחיו, כמו שביארנו לעיל. So either his daughter or all the other 15 that we mentioned before, כגון שהייתה ביתו של ראובן נשואה לשמעון אחיו. For example, ראובנ's daughter that was married to Shimon his brother, ולא אישה אחרת, and he had another wife, ולשמעון עוד אישה, שמעון had another wife, מלבד ביתו של ראובן, except besides the daughter of ראובן, מתה ביתו. What happens if his daughter dies away? מתה על שמעון ביתו של ראובן. So when Shimon was married to her, the daughter of Reuven passed away. או נתגרשה, or he divorced her. ואחר כך מת אחיו, and only then the brother died, מת שמעון בלא בנים, צרתה, אשתו של שמעון שתה תחילת צרת ביתו של ראובן. So she used to have a connection to the daughter of Reuven. But when the brother dies, she has no connection because she's already dead. What do you do in such a situation? Now what are you going to do in such a situation? צרתה אשתו של שמעון שהייתה תחילת צרת ביתו של ראובן מותרת להתייבם לראובן. Now Reuven has to make yibum on her. He cannot claim just because I couldn't marry my daughter, I don't marry her. Your daughter didn't exist when he died. When he died, there was no your daughter.
In the same time, in the Olam.
That's right. Exactly the same thing as the brother in the Olam. Also the wife have to be connected at the time the brother dies. There's no connection at the time the brother dies, so therefore you have a responsibility to marry her. לפי שבאה שנזקקה לו לייבום, because at the time that the ייבום took effect on her, אין היא צרתה של ביתו. She wasn't any longer connected to his daughter. His daughter was passed away already. שכבר מתה בחיי אביו, בחיי אחיו, because she died in the life of his brother. או שנתגרשה ממנו, או he divorced her, or she was קטנה וממאנת, it's not from the Oraita. Yeah. ונמצא שלא הייתה אשתו בשעה שמת, and we find that it wasn't his wife at the time he died. And by the way, we're going to get complicated later on. A lot of cases is there was an earthquake and the building fell, and now you have to make a distinction. Who died first? Did the wife died first? Or
the sister, for example.
Oh,
Shimon,
that's right. So it becomes.
She died before.
Who died first? That's right. The Shimon died first, or is his wife, or the daughter of Reuven died first? And you need to know. So, and now you have a suffix. Maybe you don't know. So what do you do in this situation? Later on, you're going to see how complicated this whole thing becomes. It's like, leave me alone. One of those things. But so far it's good. It's not so bad. No. וכל היכולה למען, and any girl who is allowed to למען, to say I don't want it, which means she has to be below the age of 12, שהיבמה הערווה עדיין קטנה היא, that she's still young lady, והייתה יכולה למען בחיי בעלה, and she had the ability to refuse when her husband is alive, ולא מיאנה, and she did not do a miyun. So even though she was 8 years old, and she didn't say I don't want him, and met ba'ala, and her husband died, now you can claim she's not really married. It's only marriage from the Rabbanan. Yeah? צרתה חולצת, עושה מעשה החליצה. She does have to do חליצה. Who? Not her. The tzara. The tzara has to have חליצה. שקידושי יתומה קטנה, or he's going to say, explain, that the kiddushim of a small orphan אינם אלא מדברי סופרים. They're not from the Torah, they're only from the rabbis. ואף זיקתה ליבום אינה אלא מדברי סופרים. In other words, and the hold over the brother on her, it's also only from the rabbis. הילקח אינה פותרת את צרתה מן החליצה. Therefore, since it's not a real marriage yet, it doesn't, she cannot say to the other one, go free, because she's not really married. She's only married from the rabbi, she's not married from the Torah. ולא מתייבמת. And also, she doesn't have ייבום, כמבואר הטעם בגמרא. And why not ייבום? לפי שמשעד נפילת לייבום נראית כצרת ביתו. We don't let her do ייבום, because she looks like the tzara of his wife. I know that halachically she's not. From the Torah she's not. But everybody's going to say, hey, She is, because they were both the wives. ולכן גזרו חכמים, and therefore the sages says, שאפילו מביתו ממאנת ביבם, אין צרתה מתייבדת, שלא בזלזול בצורת ערווה. Because once you get used to it, so the only thing that he can do is chalitza in the other one. You don't let him make yibum on the other one, only chalitza on the other one. Why don't you make him make yibum? Because if you make yibum, people are going to think you're allowed to marry somebody who's an erva. That she has another wife that's an erva, you're allowed to marry. They don't understand that she was below the age of 12. That's why we allowed it. They would think you're always allowed to. So we're saying, we don't want this problem. We're going to say, whenever there's such a case, yibum and chalitza, don't let him do yibum, because people are going to think the two sisters' wives. If one of them is not prohibited, if one of them is prohibited on him, the other one is permitted, they're not going to know that the reason why we permit it over here is to below the age 12 years old. So we give her a divorce. Make a chalitza, don't make a yibum. That's what we tell them. This way we're not going to have any problems later on.
But why do you have to do chalitza? Why don't you poter her?
Because she's married. The second wife is married. The one who's over the age of 12.
The other things also, you let them go, you don't even do chalitza.
But she's not married. The other sister, the young sister, is not married really. It's fake marriage. It's not really marriage. You understand? It's not a real marriage. I mean, it's a marriage from the rabbis, not marriage from the Torah.
It's not really.
It didn't catch.
Yeah.
It didn't catch.